talked about honoring God in our homes.
Yeah.
You know, what about honoring God in our homes by our marriage being exemplary of mercy, of us being merciful and gracious toward each other?
Man.
You know, we sometimes the people we're the
That's
toughest
hard.
on
Yeah.
are the people we're supposed to be the closest to, or the people we're supposed to love the most. And
we'll offer grace to many people out there before we do at home.
We're a lot more patient with people outside than we are people inside.
Thanks for joining the Home Matters Podcast with Eric and Gena Boggs, where they lead authentic, raw discussions about marriage, family life, kids, intimacy, and sex from a biblical perspective. Here's your host, Eric and Gena Boggs.
Well, hello. How are you, Eric?
Home Matters.
That's right. How are you out there? We hope you're doing great.
Hope
Hope everything's
your home
going wonderfully in this
everything
month
that
of
it's
January.
supposed to be. And
that's right. It's all good. Right?
So we talked through different topics or ideas or thoughts. We started last time talking about honoring God in our homes.
That's right.
And we're doing a kind of a parallel right now in our Wednesday at Beach Springs Church.
That's right.
Beach Springs
Got your sweatshirt on today.
You can go to beachsprings.org and find some of that. We're talking about these on our Wednesday nights. But again, this would be, let's see, what we are talking about today, we would have talked about January the 10th. No, the 17th.
17th?
Yep. So, again, if you want to go back and listen to Honoring
Yeah.
God.
That's right. On the Wednesday evenings. Through our marriage. Through our marriage.
Yep. And
that's right. Because marriage matters.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep. And again, we encourage you to find a place that maybe, I know that if you listen to us, we talk about marriage a lot, and we talk about what we're going to talk about today. I feel like I told Gena earlier, I feel like we repeat this stuff over and over, and we will continue to repeat it over and over.
Well, what I found out is one reason that we repeat it over and over is because we need to hear it.
By the way.
Thank you. Because we need to hear it over and over, right? So, I mean, I just figure if we need to hear it, then maybe there's at least one other person out there that might need to hear it. But
I've heard that you don't ever remember anything until it's been repeated at least 7 times.
Oh, really?
So, again, if we repeat ourselves, if this is the 7th time, maybe you got it this time. So
I don't know if this is 7 or 17 or 2, but today we're talking about honoring God in our marriage. I mean, after all, isn't that why God created marriage? I mean, one of the reasons is that he would be honored through it, that his love, you can pull from Ephesians 5. We use Ephesians 5 a lot when we're talking about this, but that the love that Jesus has for us, for his bride, is to be exemplified in the marriage relationship of a husband and wife.
Sure it is.
Man, that's a tall order.
It is. And
that's why we need to repeat it over and over, I think.
And if you go back to the beginning again, God created male and female. It said, let us make man in our image.
In our image, yep.
Made them male and female. It is the complement of a man and a woman together.
Yes.
That really reveal the fullness of all that God is. So we believe that in that, again, that husband and wife together, they reflect God. They reflect God's goodness in their life, their love for each other. So again, with that, Ephesians 5 is that great chapter that talks about marriage and the relationship that we have, and how a husband should love his wife like Christ loved the church.
That she should submit.
I can say it, submit yourself.
I always like to go back to Ephesians 5:21 when he says that, though, and just remind him that this whole relationship is about submission, right? First to God, then to each other.
Well, it is. There's some mutual submission, but
that's right.
We always say it this way, that we realize that husbands, we are to love our wives like Christ loved the church. Verse 22, a wife submit herself to her husband as unto the Lord.
Right.
And again,
and that's key, as unto the Lord.
Yeah, it
Man,
is.
if we're just keeping our hearts, ladies, let me help you out here for just a minute. It's not that we submit to our husband just because he's done everything he needs to do. I submit to my husband as an act of love and commitment to the Lord because he asked me to.
That's right.
Right?
And to
whether
me.
you do everything right or not.
And to me.
Yeah, to you. As unto the Lord.
But again, the Bible there in Ephesians 5, it says that this relationship that we have, I always teach it this way, that it is a relationship that is not about what we sometimes have the mindset in our culture is that marriage is about what I get out of it.
Right. And if I ain't getting what I want.
And Ephesians 5 says it's the opposite of that. It's not what I'm taking from.
It's what I can
It's not what I'm getting from, but it's what I give. And
I can give.
The thing is that submission, it is a surrender. It's a submission, surrender, a giving up, if you can say it that way. And definitely with a man, it's very clear there. With a husband, it says that, we're to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself.
That's right.
So again, it's not hard for us to see that unlike what sometimes we carry into the marriage relationship, I think the reason we don't honor God is because our tendency is that we are very
ish
oriented,
selfish.
Yeah. And what we're saying is if you're gonna honor God in your marriage, then if we're gonna do it God's way, then we're called to not be ish.
That's right, not be selfish.
Right.
That I go back to Philippians 2 and remember that I prefer you. Right.
And that is a challenge.
It is a challenge, but I'll say too that the thing that to me is just so beautiful about the way God puts all this together is that when, as husband and wife, we do those things, man, when and Eric does, I'm not just saying this because we're doing a podcast, but I mean, people know.
You're not lying right now.
I'm not lying right now. This is this is the truth.
She's telling the truth. She's going to tell the truth right here.
He does love me in every way that is humanly possible. I do believe he does love me like Christ loves me. And so when he loves that way, it's not a problem for me to submit at all. And then it's not a problem, I don't think, for you to love when there's that submission there. When we are loving and serving one another, when we're laying down our own needs and wants and desires, even sometimes just to make the other's life better. You say it that way all the time. I know in pastoring and ministry, serving is just making somebody's life better. Yeah. And man, when you can take hold of that in a marriage relationship and say, hey, I'm here as Eric's wife. I'm here as the helper God created me to be. I'm here to serve. I'm here to make his life better. Man, when that's just reciprocated over and over.
Well, our commitment to each other, our commitment to love, really, is my commitment to your good.
Yeah.
And again, what we're saying is in marriage, if we want to honor God, if we live out that heart and that mind, and again, I think that we're very easy to draw it into conditions, and we make it more of a contract as long as you meet my conditions or you meet my stipulations,
right?
You meet my demands, then but we're called but we're not called to give and take,
right?
We're called to give and give.
That's right. It's not a contract,
and it's so much. Again, it is a wonderful thing. The Bible says it's a mystery.
It's a mystery. I love that. Let me read that. It's
Ephesians
5, verse 32 and 33. I think this might be NLT or E. I'm not sure. But it says marriage is a great mystery. I mean, that's like, duh, right? I mean, anybody that's married, that marriage is a mystery.
It's a great mystery. And it's a lot of fun,
It's a great mystery, but it is an illustration, I love that, of the way Christ and the church are one. So again, I say each man must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife, here it says, must respect her husband.
Wow.
I love that. It's a picture. It's an illustration. I love that, of the way that Christ and his church, his bride, us believers, are one with him.
Yep. And again, that is something that if we realize, I choose every day
Absolutely.
to do what is best for you. I choose that. I make that conscious choice in a lot of different ways. I choose to do what is good for her.
That's right.
And again, I think that when we realize that's what that's the kind of agape God kind of love.
Yes, that's the example of the love that God loves us with. God chose way before you even arrived on this planet that he loved you, in that he gave his son.
Right.
He made that choice before I even got here and messed it all up. I mean, he knew that was going to happen.
Right.
And so I think that we should know as we go into marriage, we go in with clouded vision sometime, like this person will never disappoint me.
We don't go in with clouded vision. We go in
blind. This person will never disappoint me. Never going to mess it up. It's just perfect.
You've heard me say it before.
What's that?
Man marries a woman thinking she'll never change. And she always does.
Daily.
And a woman marries a man.
Minute by minute we change.
Man, a woman thinks a man, she marries a man and thinks, boy, he's going to change.
I'm going to get him straight out.
Straight.
I got this.
He never does.
He never does.
Again, we're going to, it is a mystery. It continues to be a mystery.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, one of the great joys of marriage is the mystery of it. You continue to live and develop and grow and discover all of that.
Choose up front.
Right.
Man, when you make those vows, essentially that's what you are doing. You are vowing, hey, I choose to love you.
Right.
I choose to love you like Christ loves you.
And the good and the bad.
That's right.
Rich or poor.
And that's not a ticket to act like a
health.
num-num.
Right.
That's not my ticket just to act up because But
again, if it's a give and give. Like I said, if we're not looking to place stipulations on this relationship, if she will act right, I'll love her right. If she'll act right, if she'll do all the things I think she should do and submit.
I don't feel like it today though.
Just exactly, you better feel like it today. But again, every day of my life, if there's stipulations around that, my decision, then it's really not a covenant at that point, right? A covenant's not dependent on the other person.
Right.
Covenant's dependent on what I've agreed to.
Exactly.
It's what I've entered into. It's not whether or not you meet all my criteria or not.
That's right. And that's why we say it's until death do us part.
That's right.
The covenant is for life.
That's right.
And even if we mess it up, if I mess it up, he messes it up. And we with God's help can work it out.
And honoring God, right? Honoring God, our relationship has to be full of a godlike nature.
Yes.
And we have to be like him in so many different ways.
What about being like him in like forgiveness?
Right.
God's a forgiving God.
Yeah, I said last time.
Thankful for that.
We talked about honoring God in our homes.
Yeah.
What about honoring God in our homes by our marriage being exemplary of mercy, of us being merciful and gracious toward each other?
Man.
We sometimes the people we're the toughest on are the people we're supposed to be the closest to or the people we're supposed to love the most. And we'll
offer grace to many people out there before we do at home.
We're a lot more patient with people outside than we are people inside.
That's true.
And again, I know I've had to deal with that through the years is that, she's not as patient. She needs,
I was wondering how you were going to frame that
with
right
me.
there.
Because
Patience.
again, sometimes I can be patient with so many other people, but at home, not have the same level of patience. And in reality, again, if I love her in the way and I'm committed to her good in the way that I should, I deal with the things that I have to deal with. I overcome those things or those things I don't like. I deal with it with grace and mercy.
Yes.
Rather than wrath and
judgment
and vengeance. It's something that everyone have to participate in, right?
Man, and yes, God is honored in that.
That's right.
Yeah, when he sees the relationship that works that way.
Right.
Like I said, he's honored in that. What about this one? What about the intimate part of our life?
Sure.
Can God be honored in the intimate relationship that we have as husband and wife?
Well, again, you read the Song of Solomon, and again, as a metaphor, the picture there is Jesus and the church.
That's
and
right.
Again, it's a very intimate relationship, a very knowing.
Yes.
So again, our relationship, our knowing, or our intimate knowledge of one another and our care for one another should be reflected in everything about our love life.
And the intimacy that God, again, back to that picture that we're supposed to be, or what we're supposed to be a picture of, the intimacy that God desires with us. Mm-hmm. Man, that is why you were created.
Right.
You know, God created us for relationship and for the intimacy that he desired with mankind. And man, for this relationship, I mean, your marriage cannot be without intimacy and fully show who God is.
Yeah, and again, that you said show, the word show, that means that literally that you are vulnerable, that you are open, that you are you allow God to know you.
Yes,
or you allow our relationship. We allow one another to know us. There's no hiddenness.
Right.
Again, go back to the beginning again. Adam and Eve, when they sinned, they covered. They tried to. But again, in an intimate relationship,
they were
and
naked
knowing,
and unashamed. Yeah.
But again, there's that place in our life that our intimate relationship is reflective, and we honor God in that we don't hide.
Right.
We are truly, we're genuinely transparent
vulnerable.
with one another, vulnerable. But again, that's the kind of marriage, the love relationship that is full of love and passion and desire.
Yeah.
And again, that's something that shouldn't be hidden in our relationship. Should be something that's, man, what are you saying? I'm saying that your intimate relationship, if it's healthy and vibrant, it will ultimately honor God and what he created in marriage.
Man, I think that's just foreign to us sometimes as you try to get people to see that intimate, even your sexual relationship, and that's not all that intimacy is, but even that part of your relationship can be something that honors God.
It should
honor God.
And but again, if we compartmentalize that part of our life and don't realize what God intended it to be,
right?
Then it just becomes a physical relationship,
right?
When it's much more.
God means it to be so much more than that. Yeah.
Yep. We're running out of time for today.
It goes fast. Yes. Can I share a little quote here? Yeah. From an article, God Glorifying Marriage. Listen, it says, you'll live your life and foster your marriage so that people will look at your marriage and see Christ as beautiful. Man, I want that for my marriage. There's something about my marriage that says, man, God must be an amazing God because of what I see there. It says that doesn't mean pretending you're perfect. We said that right. Or pretending that your marriage is perfect. It does mean that you handle your imperfections as forgiven sinners. It means showing people the forgiveness, we said it, and restoration of Christ and what that looks like in a marriage relationship.
Wow.
I love that. We're not perfect. We have our imperfections, but in our imperfections, people can see the love, the forgiveness, the restoration that God can bring in a life.
And if the intimate relationship is healthy,
then
that all the other kind of finds its way.
That's right.
Because in our love relationship,
and our knowing.
Yeah, and our knowing, man, the walls are down and we're real with each other.
That's right.
And that is what carries us to the place where we're able to navigate through those imperfections.
Yeah, through the imperfections and the crisis of life, right?
That's right.
Honor God in your marriage.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm thankful.
I like being married to you.
She deals with my imperfections.
Let's not talk about those. It's time to go.
Hey.
Or mine.
Listen, hey, honor God in your marriage.
That's right.
Again, can't wait to be with you next time.
We'll see you then.
Hey, your home matters.
Absolutely.
Bye.